it working? Can you guys hear us? We doing anything? I don't know if it's working or not.
Great.
Says it's working.
It's working now.
Oh yeah, it is working. Yeah, there we are. Well, hey guys, I guess we're live. This is the first time I've ever done this, so I wasn't sure if we had it working or not. But, if you have any questions, I guess we're here to answer them. We're doing good. I'm just using this phone just so I can see your guys' questions. Is the audio okay? Can you hear us? How do you like the Fendt Ideal? I think we both like it. We didn't get to use it. I mean, it's hard to form an opinion on a combine in a couple of days. Maybe if it was a couple of days where we ran 100 acres each day, we'd have a little bit better opinion. But I mean, what I ran, I liked it. What about you?
Yeah, I liked it. It's just hard to tell. The more we run it, and the conditions were ideal, kind of, except the down corn.
Yeah.
And capacity, we don't know. It really hadn't been proven to us. I mean, I know they know, I'm sure, but I'm sure it's got a lot of capacity. Smooth run, doesn't vibrate. It is a smooth run machine.
I guess I'd have liked to have seen it run maybe 20-25% corn. You'd probably been able to tell a little bit more about it, I guess. I mean, I think the wettest we ran it in was 18% corn. That field we ran it in, half of it had fungicide, half of it didn't. So the front half that this machine did most of it, or it did all of the front half of that field, that corn was all 15%. So. Let's see what else we got. Between the Klaus and tracked Fendt, do you feel a difference? Only thing we've done with that tracked Klaus is move it in the driveway, so really can't really give much opinion on that just yet. I mean, between the wheeled machine and the track machine, I thought there was a difference. What about you?
Oh yeah, it just seemed to be a lot smoother through the field. I'm sure less compaction. That's a big selling point. Less compaction is the main thing.
How will the service be compared to the Lexion? Well, actually, Ohio Ag Equipment is our Lexion dealer, and they're also the Fendt dealer. So, I mean, that's something that I think will be. I mean, it's going to be the same service, so I don't think there'll be a problem there. If you could name 3 things you'd change in the machine, what would they be? One thing I would change would be the auger height. We're not used to that. The Klaus, it swings out higher. It has more of an arc, so you don't have to worry about ever hitting the grain cart, really. That'd probably be the main thing I would change. Other than that,
The turning radius.
yeah, the turning radius isn't that great, but then again, we've never ran a track combine other than this one, so.
But it definitely needs work on it, and they said they can fix that, I think. So the third thing, I don't know. Like I said, we haven't run that much. I don't know what would be the third thing. Them is 2 main things that stick out, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see a folding corn head, but that's not really the combine we'd be changing. George is in the background. He's right behind the camera. He's too much of a chicken to get in here. So. Let's see, what else we got? How many horsepower? What engine? This is the man engine. There's 2 size man engines they use. I think this is like a 12.8 liter, maybe.
Something like 12 liter or something.
It's 536 horsepower. It's the same motor that is in the 1000 series AGCO tractors, the Challenger. So it's a pretty smooth running engine so far.
The T9's got like what, 647 horse, I think it is, and the T7 will have the AGCO engine.
Yeah, the T7, which is the Class 7, which is the same size of our machines, our Lexions, it's 450 horse. That's pretty impressive in a Class 7, I think. Do you like the tracks? Yes, we like the tracks. Ideally, we'd like to have tracks on our combines, but just haven't made the financial commitment to that, I guess. Tracks are expensive. How much do they want for it? That's between you and your dealer, I guess. I haven't actually priced one, so I don't really know. But I guess you'd have to call up your local AGCO dealer.
Comparable to other combines, they're about the same. Whatever the other John Deere and all of them, they're all about the same price for the size, class.
Why are you not combining? Well, we're waiting to cut beans. That's kind of our plan this afternoon.
And we've had a lot of rain, and the fields are real wet yet.
Now, you can't tell, but there's a little pond right over here. It's not supposed to be there. Do they have a mini fridge microwave coffee maker in the cab? There actually is. It's not a fridge, but under the passenger seat, the buddy seat, there is a cool box. I think it just blows cold air on your beverage or your cooler or your beverages. And I think you can also turn it to heat, so it could, not really a microwave, but might keep something a little warm. If you make the switch from tracks on the combine, you might as well go with the grain cart. I think for sure that the two things I would like to have tracks on is the combine and the grain cart. Especially when we do wheat and then we come back and plant double crops, you can see every track that the combine makes, and you can pretty much see any path that the grain cart goes on. I think they compact more than anything on the farm. Why don't we have tracks on the tractors?
We had a tractor until 3 years ago. I've had two of them. Initial cost, they're more expensive. We like the tracks.
One thing that made us, the tractor we had, I think it was an AGCO Challenger MT 785 or
765, I believe.
At the time, AGCO, the track machines were power shift, and we wanted their CVT transmission. So that's one of the main reasons we don't still have that tractor.
Yeah, now they have that in the tractors. They have the CVT now, so maybe the next time. But we like the 1000 series awful well too. So.
How does this compare to other combines? This is a completely different animal than our Lexions, just because the separating system is completely different. Our Lexions, they are an APS hybrid, so they have a conventional cylinder in them as well as two rotors. This one just has two large rotors. I think the John Deere is a single rotor. This combine has a longer rotor. This is a 16-foot rotor, two 16-foot rotors.
20 foot.
No, they're 16.
Okay, 20, 16.
There's 24-inch diameter.
Okay.
But I think the John Deere is a 10-foot rotor, but I think it's a larger diameter rotor. The case, I'm not sure what their measurements are. I think they're fairly similar to a John Deere. So, I mean, that's kind of the differences, I guess. But as far as performance, like I said, I don't know. We haven't ran it enough to really tell. I haven't seen anything that would make me think this combine could not do as well as our combine. Would you say?
Well, yeah, hopefully.
But like I said, the true test would be really wet corn and green stem soybeans. But you're not going to find wet corn right now, and you're probably not going to find any green stem soybeans in southern Ohio. How big's the grain tank? The Class 7 and the Class 8, you have two options on the grain tank, 350 bushel or 485. This one's a 485. With the smaller grain tank, you get a slower unload rate. It's 4 bushels per second. This one's 6 bushel a second. I don't know how much that option costs, but I would not get it without it. When we were opening up that large field with it, it was just, I mean, it was nicer. I mean,
a lot farther than the Class.
Yeah, I mean, you could go further. I mean, the grain cart operator didn't have to. I mean,
George got to loaf a little bit more.
I mean, yeah, you could do things like get on your phone and watch Brian's farming videos.
Yeah, George did loaf.
So yeah, it's a good reason to get that, I guess. Let's see what else we got. Do you have around your Fendt tractors too? We only have one tractor that would be close to a Fendt. I mean, the serial number says Fendt, so I guess it's kind of a Fendt, but it's painted Challenger yellow. But it's in the barn, so it's not out right now. Is it hard to run? I don't think it's hard to run, but
yeah, George can sit.
George ran it. So George and Cody both ran it. So, and George didn't even run over a pickup truck this time. So
just takes a little bit getting used to the controls. They're opposite, different than ours, but after you run a little while, I think you'd be fine. It's a very comfortable cab controls.
What was the biggest problem with the corn head? For one thing, the gathering chains weren't adjusted right. Once they switched those around, it fed fine after that. There was a lot of ear bounce, so they slowed the head down. That seemed to help it a little bit, but our Capella head has rollers on the end of it. I don't know how much that helps, but it seems like it was losing less ears off the side. And I don't know if that's because of those rollers. Or, I don't know. That could have been that variety. I guess really the only way to tell that would have been to have both machines running side by side, and we didn't. So, what do you think of the John Deere 8R? Haven't been in a John Deere in 10 years, other than our 8400. Yeah, tracks on combines are worth the money. I think so. Dad, he's always been kind of a tightwad on that, and I think
Yeah.
I think after running this machine, I think it kind of
Yeah, you gotta get four-wheel drive with it also, I think. And I got the four-wheel drive this last time, so the next time, if we ever get, or Brian buys a new one, we'll go for the tracks.
yeah, I think I'd say it's probably, at least on our combines, it's probably by the time you had the four-wheel drive, $50,000 to $60,000.
Yeah, I think the tracks are like 40 and the four-wheel drive's like 20, 25, something like that.
I mean, it's a
So
pretty big commitment, but I do think, I mean, for compaction, I think it'd be worth it.
And resale value helps a lot too on that, yes.
Can you explain the difference between combine classes? On the Class 7 Fendt, you have one rotor. It's the same rotor, it's just you only have one instead of two. I'm pretty sure it's still 16 foot, 24 inches around. It also has an AGCO motor instead of the MAN engine, which there's nothing wrong with the AGCO motor, but my experience with the MAN, it's a pretty nice engine. I like it. There's like 80 some horsepower difference, and so you are losing a little bit of separating capacity with the Class 7 versus the Class 8. Other than that, I think they're the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same feeder house, maybe. Is
I
it?
think the same width, everything. The Class 9 has a longer shoe on it.
Yeah, the Class 9 has more capacity than the Class 8. They have the same rotor, but like you said, the shoe's a little bit has more capacity, and it also has 650 horsepower, so you're bumping up another 100 horse. So I mean, in corn, that's probably not that big of a deal, unless maybe you were running an 18-row head. But in soybeans, that might. I think this machine would handle a 45-foot head fine.
Oh yes, yes, I can't wait to think.
So
I think.
I mean, I don't know about other crops. I'm sure like some other small grains might need that horsepower more so than what we're doing with it. Will you be running beans to the dryer? We hope not, but probably.
Yeah. More likely this afternoon or tonight we'll be running beans to the dryer.
Is your harvest later than normal? We're still typically running right now, but we're very close to the end. And this year,
Well, this is the first year we've had two machines for the whole year, so we was hoping to get done quite a bit earlier, but that hasn't happened because of the weather and other things. But
I think, I'm pretty sure we've had 20 some days where we weren't able to harvest because of rain. And typically that's not the case. This is a rotor combine. Is this a rotor machine? Yes. What corn head do you have for the Fendt? It's an AGCO corn head. I'm pretty sure it's the same corn head that the Gleaner and Massey run. What is the initial cost of the combine? Again, you'd have to check with your AGCO dealer. What do you like about your AGCO dealer support? Well, we deal with Ohio Ag out of Washington Courthouse. Just one example, last year I had a bearing go out on my Lexion, and it happened the day before Thanksgiving, and that combine was up and going Thanksgiving evening. So that's kind of, they have great service.
Great service. Good.
I mean, we could break something at midnight that night, and it'd probably be sitting on the front or outside waiting on us.
So far, we've been lucky, maybe, but they got good service, good. So far, good parts, but we haven't had any sort of major things for a long time. So.
What would you ever try out a Gleaner or a Case? Yeah. We're not loyal to one brand. I mean, whenever I was a kid, we had all John Deere. We've had a few Case tractors.
Started out with Gleaner though.
Yeah, Dad has always been a Gleaner fan. He always talks about his N5 Gleaner like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
back then it was.
I mean, I don't know if you watch one of the Fendt videos at the beginning of it. I think he was telling one of those AGCO guys if he had to keep a combine for 10 years, he would buy a Gleaner.
You can work on and fix anything on 30 minutes. They're a good machine, but they're all good machines anymore. John Deere, we run John Deere for about 10 years, maybe 12 years. Good machine. Tried out the Klaus and kind of liked it. that's where we're at today.
Could you put a folding corn head on the Fendt? Yeah, I'm pretty positive. I mean, that's something that aftermarket heads would have to make an adapter plate for, but I'm fairly positive Gearing Off's making an aftermarket kit or a kit to adapt their head to it. I would imagine that in time, Capella and I'd say you'll be able to buy.
Probably all of them.
Yeah.
Probably all of them. McDonald, Grain Head, they all have a adapter kit, I'm sure.
Do we plan on buying John Deere's? Well, just depends on price.
Never know.
I mean, don't ever want to say never on anything. Would you ever have a John Deere combine? Again, depends on price.
Not so much price. Price was a big part of it, but service is the main thing too.
Would your next combine have tracks no matter the color? I don't want to say for 100%, but possibly. I mean,
Probably so.
It'd be a lot more thought about than normal. Do you see a difference in the unload rate? Yes. And one thing I noticed, I mean, I ran the grain cart while this machine was running, and I was in the cab while this machine was running. So I've seen it from both ends. When you're dumping that thing, 6 bushels a second coming out of that gigantic auger does not look like an impressive stream of grain. Like, it just looks like it's barely coming out of there. And then when you're running the grain cart, you'll look over and all of a sudden them scales say 32,000 pounds just in no time. So it has a very impressive unload rate. Would you trade yours in for a Fendt? I mean, not right now, but our machines aren't scheduled to be replaced for a while. So, I mean, right now they're still running good, but like I said in one of the videos, when we do replace them, I mean, we probably will price a Fendt against the Klaus. But check out the Tribine. We've seen the Tribine. I don't know. I'd have to really see one up close and personal. I don't know. Do you think they'll take off? I don't see it taking off.
It's a lot of money. They're expensive, they say, and you know they might be a good machine. I don't like the idea of 2 engines. That's just poor upkeep. Bad enough to keep one going sometimes, but I don't know. Time will tell. I wish the guy luck. It's whoever's producing them.
Are you the same Browns that own the Cub Cadet dealership? That is my brother, but yes, that is our family. Are you going to run later? Plan is to run beans later. At one time, are we going to try to run a couple loads of corn? The only cornfields we got, I don't know if we can turn a truck around right now in without getting stuck. And it's about a mile carting out of the field, so more than likely we're probably just going to run some soybeans.
Try to run beans, but we had an awful big frost this morning. It was cold, still cold.
Do they have cameras on the unload augers so you can judge better, especially since it's so long? That's an option. There's this machine, I think it's wired for AgCam camera or aftermarket cameras. There's an AgCam monitor up in the cab, and I mean, there's just no cameras on it, but that's an option, I do believe.
You know, the camera's on now. It's going up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. On each side, it shows an aerial view down on the machine. It's pretty neat all around it. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive it is going to be black. Someone asked if is that the color. I'm 100%. I think it's
more likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fendt color black.
Well, Fendt colors are green and red.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess I don't know. So far, I'd say it is.
Hey George, someone wants to know what your favorite meal is.
Whatever you got to feed me.
Whatever's free.
Yeah, put it that way.
Vienna sausage and beanie weeds. He really likes that. Ha.
How long has your dad been farming? We figured it up. I meant to put in one of the videos whenever we were all running the machines, how many years of combining experience we had. Dad's been running the combine since he's 16. He's 68 now, so that's 52 years of just running the combine. I don't know. How would you answer that? I mean, he's been farming his whole life.
Yeah, I've been farming whole life.
I mean, what did you start planting on an old Oliver 77?
Oh yeah, broke like 7 years old. An old T30 Ferguson's, Oliver and Cockshut, John Deere's.
What's the difference between a T8 and T9? Horsepower and just a little bit more cleaning capacity. Does it have enough horsepower or is it underrated? I mean, keep in mind, we run a Class 7, so that's a smaller horsepower machine. I thought it had plenty of horsepower.
It never lacked for power, of course. You know, in these conditions, it never hurt for power. So I'm sure they got enough power in it. Of course, everybody wants more power, so you never know.
Congratulations on the channel growth. Thank you. Hello, do you want a Fendt tractor too? Well, we have the Challenger 1038, and that's basically a yellow Fendt.
We always wanted a Fendt. I always wanted a Fendt, but a little out price range, and they come with the Challenger. And
Well,
finally got one.
until Agco started producing the Fendt as a Challenger, there wasn't a Fendt dealer that we could buy one from until the last couple of years. So I think the nearest Fendt dealer was in Northern Ohio at the time. So, but yeah, we've always kind of liked the Fendt tractors.
George says they're the Cadillac of the tractors. He likes them.
I know they make the Massey Ideal. Do they make the Challenger Ideal? I do not believe so. I don't know this for sure, but I'm fairly positive that the Massey Ideal is being marketed in Europe along with the Fendt Ideal, but in North America it will just be marketed as a Fendt. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, we don't know. You just have to ask the dealers, I guess.
This person wants to know, maybe you can answer this. What comes first, sieve loss or rotor loss? In a rotary combine beginning, we could thrash faster than we could clean due to just not having enough cleaning capacity matched due to threshing capacity.
Well, it depends on the machine, I suppose. Yeah, you could get the sieve loss if you didn't have enough clean capacity, or you get the rotor loss if the rotors don't have the capacity, I guess.
I would think this rotor would have enough capacity.
I don't think this is going to hurt for capacity as long as the rotors are and it's shoe. But what we run, there was much hard. You couldn't see any loss. There's a lot more head loss than, of course, the crops are so dry now. But no, I don't think you're going to have much loss. I think it's going to be as good as anything out there as far as rotors, I believe.
Someone asked, would you buy a New Holland? I mean, Dad's always liked the New Holland because it has a twin rotor, and coming from a Klaus Lexion, that's kind of, I mean, our machines have two rotors, so there's not a big dealer around here, and there's not very many of them. I don't know very many of them around, do you?
No, there are just a few, and they look like a good machine. I know they are overseas, I guess, Europe, but they don't look as heavy built as what we're used to, and as this machine here, but I'm sure they're a good machine.
Does the Fendt have a grain tank light? Yeah, if you watch the nighttime footage we shot with this, someone just forgot to turn the grain tank light on. As soon as the drone landed, that light was on. It was just like a normal combine. How do you like the cab view? It doesn't look like there are any blind spots. No, it's pretty impressive. I mean, the A posts they're very thin. With the glass being all rounded, I mean, I like it.
Well, I don't think
Visibility was not hurting out of that machine.
Yeah, it's nice.
How long's George been working for us? Since 1990?
Since he married my sister-in-law.
What generation farmer am I?
Fifth.
Fifth?
Fifth.
I guess I'm the fifth. Our farm's been in our family for 3 generations, but they were farming before they bought their home farm. So, I mean, I'm guessing it's probably longer than fifth. I mean,
No, I think fifth.
looks like sunshine and no rain for now. It's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening it's supposed to rain and turn to snow.
And this is very early for snow in southern Ohio. Usually it doesn't snow till around December.
This time of year it's hard for beans and stuff to dry out because there's not much daylight. It's cold.
Hey, grandson Mason says hi.
Hi, Mason. Landon.
Is Ohio Ag going to sell both Fendt and Lexion? Yes. It's our understanding that they will be still selling both machines. At least we hope, because like I said, we really like our Lexion still. I mean, we think this is a great combine, but I'd hate to see Ohio Ag quit selling Lexions.
Yeah. But I don't think they plan that.
Yeah. And I mean, we think this is a great machine, but it still has a lot to prove. I think Lexions have a pretty proven track record of being a good, reliable combine. Is there a tire option for the Fendt? Yeah, There was a demo. We seen a demo unit in Northern Ohio, and it had duals on it. Um, I was kind of glad they brought the track machine down, but I mean there is a dual option. I believe it'd be just like our combines. It'd be 17.5 foot wide or so.
Yeah.
Why do you plant so much wheat? Gotta have something to do in the summer. Does it turn harder with tracks? Yes. Yeah, with we planted 48 inrows, 30 inch. So that's 120 feet, and I don't know. I needed all 120 feet really if I want. Like I had to make a light bulb turn to come back into it. Now I mean, maybe with some more practice I'd be a little better, but I mean if you haven't seen it, go watch George run it and try to turn it into back into it.
I like it. The tracks may turn a little harder, but not much. But if you got four-wheel drive, would help turn it around too. Also, I think.
Is the corn quality better with the Ideal or with the Lexion? He made the comment. Dad got out and dumped a couple trucks, and he made the comment that he noticed there was less fines coming out of this combine. The Lexion, in my opinion, if it's not coming off of that corn cob after it goes to a Lexion, it's not going to come off.
Yeah,
It's
the
a very
Lexion,
aggressive machine.
Yeah, you can make more adjustments than what we do because we back and forth corn and soybeans. But they claim you can adjust it, get a better job than what we do. But this rotors and all rotors I think do a little better job, and this really does a nice job of that.
How long do the tracks last? I don't know what the lifespan of the set of tracks would be. I mean, I would think a couple thousand hours, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd say I don't know. Yeah, probably. They drove it down here, and it's been driven a lot of places you can't see anywhere.
Is it a consideration to run one Class 9 combine instead of two smaller ones? I don't think so. Like he said, until the last year and a half, we were only running one Class 7. One of the advantages we found of having two combines identical to each other, we were able to keep a combine longer this way, and if one combine breaks down, we still have a combine to work. Especially with the way the grain markets have fallen, used equipment values have kind of fallen, and I guess we kind of tried to capitalize on that by picking up a second machine. But no, I don't think we'll be purchasing one Class 9. The AGCO New Holland equipment doesn't seem to hold its value long. I mean, it seems like John Deere's going to hold its value better than anything, I think.
Nowadays, I don't know. I might argue with you a little bit. Everything I think the market's saturated. I think with used combines, and especially John Deere. So I don't know. They might, but I know Lexion. They say it didn't hold their values, but I've seen cheap John Deeres and I've seen cheap Lexions. I don't know. Time will tell.
Why don't your kids ride with you? Keep watching some videos. I think Dax rode with me every day in wheat harvest.
School's going on. They got other things going on now.
Someone wanted to know what the rear size of the tires were. These are 750, 65 R26s. So they're a pretty large back tire. When are you going to get George a new Peterbilt? Well, it's just like this combine. We're 6 Powerballs away. So
That's how he talks about that long-nosed Peterbilt.
yeah, we're holding out for when George finally says he's going to retire. We might have to pull that out of the trump card. Do you like John Deere and Case? We have no problem with either one. So we've had both.
We have John Deere. We have an 8400. That's my brother's, and I got a little 5320 I use every weekend mowing. So we used to have old John Deere.
Why is the unloader so long? Right now, this unloader is it's the longest length they make. This is a 35 footer. I believe you can get it in 25 or 35. I don't know if you can get any smaller than that or not, but this is set up for a 35 foot platform head or draper head.
turn this camera out, George. See each one of them segments up there, where all them bolts is going to be the different links. If you can see it there, George holds it up there.
Yeah,
That's
but
going to be the links of it, I think. What they're producing.
I put the camera there.
Okay, put the camera.
But that's why it's so long. And just to guess, I mean, the way agriculture always trends, I won't be surprised if one day there's not a 50-foot head on one of these. And I would say right now that head is, or that unloader is plenty long enough. I think that's, I don't know if that's industry leading, but I know it's longer than ours.
It's long. These, like I say, go a little higher. When you're dumping the grain cart, if you roll it back, it could get in a grain cart. At least ours is pretty tall, but it needs to be a little higher there. The arc ain't right or something.
In the UK, Lexions would have a far better value than John Deere. Yeah, that's John Deere marketing in the United States, I guess. International 1206 or John Deere 4020. 4020 was his first tractor, and he will always pick a 4020.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine went to school with, he always had an 806, so we'd always argue which one had the best, which one was best.
When will we trade our 685 for a Fendt 933? If we traded that 685, it'd be for another 1038 probably. How do I get one of those cool Sea Consultants jackets? Buy a bunch of seed would be my guess. That or show up at one of their seed meetings.
They're expensive jackets.
Does AGCO make a draper head? It's my understanding that for now they're going to be using the same draper head that they offer for the gleaners. With the amount of sensors in the Fendt combine, which may make you shy away from purchasing a used unit with, say, 1,000 hours. I mean, it'd be no different than any other combine. I mean, they all have all these sensors on it. When I bought my combine, it had 800 and some separator hours, I think. And I mean, every now and then there'll be like a sensor go off, but I mean, it just is what it is. Not.
We've never had any problems with the sensors on it, electrical problems on ours. What we've got, mine's got, I don't know, more hours his. We haven't had any problem with the sensors.
I would think what hurts it more than anything is sitting. I mean, I think if a combine is set and not been used for a few years, oh shoot, we're about to lose battery. I think if a combine sits for a long time,
Don't want mice to get in them.
yeah, I think you're more likely to have problems from that. But, we are about to lose battery, so walk around the other side of the machine. Quick, you coming down?
Plug it in.
Yeah. Actually, Dad, read questions. I'm gonna get a cord. George,
Oh, okay.
George, get in here. Fill in.
I can't read without my glasses, Brad. My arm's not long enough. Any canola? Haven't seen this combine canola, no. But I guess up Canada, I think the guys have seen maybe a little bit of it, not a lot, I don't think. Well, I'll tell you, yeah, my arm ain't long enough to see this. I need my glasses on besides sunglasses. Maybe I'll take him out. Oh, yeah, that's a little better. Kentucky farmer. Our case combine of tracks, I think, still looks like new. Okay, another one, are they compost tracks? Complast? No, I don't think so. I think these tracks are built where they build the Challenger tractors, the track tractors. And I think they're designed after the track tractors. Plug it in, Brian.
Yeah.
You can see better than
All
I
right,
can.
we got. I think we got power now. If it dies, it dies. Who made the first combine? Do you know that? I've seen a documentary on that before, but I'd be afraid to say. Check YouTube. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah, I'll check on
You're not in
YouTube
the frame.
or internet someplace will tell you.
Scoot this way. There you go.
Oh. George, come on over here. People want to see you.
Did you guys demo the tracked Lexion? And if you did, how did it compare to the tracked Fendt? We have not yet. I think we're still planning on it, but
Maybe tomorrow.
ever since they brought that combine,
Bad luck, rain.
I mean, it's set up to demo beans. They have a bean head here for it now, but yeah, It rained the day they brought it, and haven't ran beans since. That was
We
the last
thought
day
we'd
we
get to use it there, what, last Wednesday or Thursday, and got ready, and the sun went back in, and we didn't.
Well, this thing was
Then this
also
showed
here
up,
too.
Yeah,
So.
this showed up, so.
Put the camera on the combine, and then we can stand back far from it.
Okay.
Because you weren't in frame, we could swing out the auger.
Oh. Need my glasses?
No, I've had a New Holland combine for 10 years and still running strong. Yeah, I mean, combines aren't, I mean, you have to replace some parts in them, but I mean, they're not going to be wore out after a few years. Our neighbor has a Klaus 760. Like he said, he has closed in on 3,000 hours on it. That's still running like a champ. Do any of you guys want to see anything on the combine before we shut this off? Anybody wants to see the cab or motor or anything like that, just let me know, because this thing is going back to, I think it's going back to Ohio Ag tomorrow, and then that'll be the last we see of it. So.
Yeah. Then it goes back to the factory, I think, or Heston, I guess it is, and I think they're gonna go all through it, update stuff on it. I think they have quite a few updates they're gonna do before they start really producing it.
People want to see the motor. Did you run it? We did not see the fuel efficiency on it. Like I didn't see. I never even looked at the monitor. But it came here with not much fuel. We ran it for 2 days and it didn't run out of fuel. That's about the only thing I could tell you. What did it use? 20% fuel maybe?
It did. I think it said on what did I see? Like less than 100 gallon, and we run probably 80 acres through it, maybe something like that. Less than 100 gallon.
Hold on just a second. We'll climb up and look at the motor real quick.
We could have run it more, but we just kind of ran out of space to dump, and then it was rained again. So.
Yeah, it really. It's kind of. I wish it had been here like a week sooner. We'd have had more. We'd been able to run it a little bit more. We were filling up the grain bins. We got into wet corn, so I mean that's kind of why we didn't get to run it.
But we had a 160 acre field, and they said they'd run the whole field, but we didn't have enough room to run it all. No space.
All right, we'll climb up and take a look at the motor. Bear with me here if I drop the phone.
Sharpers that come unplugged.
We already had this panel open when we climbed up it earlier, but you open this panel, the ladder, how does this work? That just pivots down.
Where's the next?
You filming up?
Pull the pin, swing the door around and open that door, then open the hood.
There's the motor.
Hold up over, you can see it is big.
Let's see what the
How wide it is.
Will it pop? Restless Outdoors, will it pop a willy? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably help if I turn the battery pack on.
Run out again.
Yeah, it's 10% battery. How many acres have we harvested with this combine? On our farm, it's ran roughly 100 to 110 acres. I'm not 100% sure on that. Between the two of me and Dad, maybe 40. There was a lot of people in and out of the machine. So, I mean, that's probably pushing it 40. I mean, maybe 40 acres is what we've ran personally. Like I say, it's ran about 100, 110 acres here. Could you keep up with the combine if you owned it? Yeah. Like I said, the only reason we couldn't really keep up with it as much, for one thing, me, Dad, and George were playing around with the combine instead of working like we should have been probably. Especially me. That's gonna make George happy. But that, and we were filling up the grain bin, so that's our last cornfield that's gonna go over to this grain facility, so that kind of had things a little slower, but yeah, we could keep up with this machine.
With our grain facility.
Yeah. Dad, people say thanks for interacting with the people and educating. If you guys learn anything from him, wow. What is the motor? This is a man engine. Let's see if I can't get it a
Show
little
them how
closer.
big it is.
That's it. So that's where you check the oil at in it. This is the cooling system. One thing I never captured on film was this cooling system every 15 minutes? So, something like every 15 minutes, and then every time you shut the separator off, it reverses, shoots a big pile of dust up in the air. And I really like that. Looks like that would eliminate a lot of the dust you'd see in the radiators. So I thought that was a pretty nice feature. That's one thing I never got on camera while it was here. I wish I would have. But one thing we like about it, I mean, this is all pretty streamlined. I mean, it's pretty easy to get around in this thing. Fuel and def are right there, easy to find. I mean, the engine compartment's pretty clean. We like that. But if you want, we'll climb up in the cab real quick, and then we'll probably shut this down because I think we are about ready to do some beans. See if I can hold this camera without falling off this ladder. All right, Dad, come on. All right, we're gonna climb up in the cab now, and I guess you guys can just see what you can see out of it. So I don't think it's got very many blind spots, I could tell. One thing we both noticed when we got out of this and into our combines was it's a lot less spacious. All right, we're in here now. You coming?
You want me to hold it?
No.
Oh.
Does it run different than your combine as far as efficiency? I don't know. I don't know yet. Can you do a startup? I mean, there's not much to it. She's running.
Got a good radio. That's the fan.
That's
Take
air
off.
conditioning.
You can turn it off or not.
There we go. Here, I'll maybe turn the camera around. There's the view out of the cab. I mean, like you can see, keep in mind these windows are clean. That makes, they're cleaner than
I
ours.
cleaned them.
Well, Dad cleaned them. That makes a little bit of a difference. We're not staying live much longer, so if you got any questions, pour them in, because we're burning daylight. Did George fart in the new machine? Most likely. Do you like the layout inside versus the Lexion? Keep in mind, Dad's been running the Lexion since 2005, so he's got a lot more hours in it, but I mean, I think with time, this would be a very well, you'd be used to it, and I like how it's laid out. I like how simple everything is to find. When I first look at this armrest, I almost get overwhelmed with all the buttons, but you gotta slow yourself down, break it down what you need to use. I mean, most of these things are repetitive. Like, you can make all these adjustments in this monitor, or you can make them right here. That's just what you want to do. That's one thing AGCO seems to be good at, is making it customizable to how you prefer it. Horsepower. This machine has, I think, 536 horsepower. Will you be finished by harvest by Thanksgiving?
The way we're going, I doubt it.
We might be eating turkey in the cab.
If we can get a week of good weather, we can make a big dent in it, almost.
Do your dad and you ever disagree while working? Everybody does. I mean, we get along pretty good. Well, we just disagreed about that, I guess.
Usually who's buying lunch?
How many hours are on this machine? I don't know. I don't even know how to tell.
It's down at 197.
Huh? Oh, yeah. No, that's acres.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much. Maintenance? No.
I think the other day when they brought, there was like 187 or so.
Well, it's got hours till 1,000-hour maintenance is about 180.
Yeah.
So, not very many. What's the price tag? Price tag, you'd have to check with your AGCO dealer on that. So quiet. Beats the days farmers were half deaf. He still can't hear. I can only imagine it was better back in the day.
Huh?
Can we see under the side panels? We'll check that, and then we're going to shut her down and get back to work.
Clean the cab out and you got it dirty.
All right, this is under the door side panel. That's what she looks like under there. I mean, you can ask me what all that stuff is. I don't know if I know.
One neat feature, it's got a air compressor on it, air tank. There's the air. It's got an outlet at each corner. So that's nice, I think. You know, blow it off, heating, whatever. Or if you have a flat track, I guess. If you had a flat track or something, you pump it up. That'd work.
Yep. But I think on the other side, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on over there, is there?
Yeah, you can't see it long.
There's your air tank right there. And you basically got your clean grain elevator. Looks like the pulleys to run the augers in the grain tank. That's your cooling system behind that. All right, I think that pretty much covers it. So, yeah, that's pretty much do it. Thanks guys for tuning in. This will probably be the harvest video for today, because yesterday it rained a bunch. We hauled some corn. That was about it. So, but hey, thanks for watching. There's George, got him on camera. But thanks for watching. I'll probably leave this up for a couple days. Might leave it up for, I don't know. But we're gonna go back to shelling some beans now. So thanks. I can figure out how you turn this off.